Hey guys, it's Nian here, and I am bringing you the second semi-final of the ASUS Republic of Gamers tournament held in early August, late July time. And this game is going to be the second semi-final. It's going to be Liquid TaeJa spawning down here in the bottom corner of Entombed Valley, and up in the top corner is going to be Millennium's4GG, one of Millennium's more recent acquisitions. He was teamless for a while, but he's with Millennium now, and is their sort of star player now that Stefano has left, and going to probably be seeing fairly mirror builds in the early stages. In fact, they're identical, even down to the timings on the supply depot. Both of them going for a wall off of the ramp. But the question is, will they decide to go bio or mech? And I think there might have been a pause from the messages there, because that's what players tend to do during pauses. They tend to write things. Mainly to keep the fingers all nice and warm. And it's going to be still mirror builds, because both players getting a barracks down at the same time. And at the moment, I'll just hide the timer. Don't want you seeing that, knowing how long this video has left, because that will probably give you an indication of a spoiler. Mind you, I haven't seen this match because it was cast whilst I wasn't watching the stream, which is a bit annoying, but oh well. And Vespine has finished off for 4GG, so it looks as though 4GG will be actually doing mech base instead of bio base. Looks like TaeJa's beginning to ramp up to bio because he's not got any Vespine yet. One thing to note about this map is that it isn't forced cross spawns, so both players scouting the near spawns. So wall off completing for 4GG, and TaeJa quick expanding and building an orbital at the same time. So TaeJa going for what looks like more of a macro-based build, whereas 4GG going for quick mech probably. In fact, it looks as though he might be 1-1-1ing. However, TaeJa now taking dual gas. Don't know how much he actually managed to see with that SCV. Nope, he actually managed to see nothing. However, he did see that there's no expansion. So he's presumably expecting something quite quickly to come out, because at the moment it's one base against two, and that command center is going to finish up shortly, and that supply depot will fall. It's at 260 health, 250 health. Will it go down? But in more important news, Tech Lab on the reactor on the barracks, Tech Lab on the factory presumably. Yes, so presumably going to see some sort of siege tank build, and a starport coming there. And definitely going for the 1-1-1 build. However, TaeJa deciding to float his command center out of danger. Presumably it was decided that 4GG was going to go for some quick aggression, and the factory is going to move down to the natural, where no one will suspect it. And yeah, swapping out the reactor, so reactor Banshee. No, sorry, Tech Lab Banshee, because you can't react to Banshees. But command center coming up now for 4GG. Whereas TaeJa choosing to just sit back and gain the energy from the orbital command. Meaning dual mules and just general macro awesomeness. So if we go to the income tab, it's pretty even at the moment. TaeJa pulling slightly ahead when his mules deliver, because they do, I think it's 7 minerals instead of the standard 5 per trip. But they only last for 90 seconds. I think it's 7. It might be... can I find the ability? No, it just says collect more. So TaeJa doing 2 racks and moves his orbital back again. I think he's being a bit indecisive as to And there it goes again. I think he's being a bit indecisive as to whether to actually do anything with it. And it looks as though there's a Banshee coming across here. And I don't think it has Cloak yet. Cloak should be researched on the way, but there is a Raven coming out as well as tanks and siege mode for TaeJa and a Viking, so that'll probably be able to defend against this Banshee. I also apologise for any sniffling on this cast because I do have a slight cold at the moment. I'm trying to get games cast before the cold sort of fully develops. But the Banshee harass was quickly denied by TaeJa with his Viking and troop of Marines, and there are 13 apiece, as well as one tank, and it's pretty even in the unit count at the moment. Both players macroing exceedingly well. Mind you, what would you expect? This is the semi-final of a major tournament, so you wouldn't really expect anything other than epic macro, and also epic micro, which we'll probably be seeing later on, given that it's mirror compositions pretty much, apart from the fact that TaeJa has fewer Marines now and doesn't have the Raven. And it looks as though he's positioned he had one of his Vikings positioned strategically to deny any Reaper harass. What am I thinking of? Banshee harass. But ForGG moving out looks as though he might want to try and end this fairly quickly. And the Viking on a patrol route there, and the lone SCV set to scout out what's happened, whether he's actually taken an expansion. And ForGG will be moving out. He will be moving out. The Viking spots it, flies home. However, the siege mode, and he manages to kill 3 Marines. I think those are Marine carcasses. Yes, those are Marine carcasses. And now it's identical, apart from the one tank for ForGG to one more tank, and TaeJa has more Marines. So Raven out for both players because it spots the Cloak Banshee, so I don't think Cloak's going to get researched anytime soon. But the tanks definitely helped with denying that early aggression. Bunkers being salvaged, providing a little bit extra income, and it looks as though TaeJa's going to be the one who moves out this time. But I don't think it'll come to much because ForGG needs to siege up in the middle of the map. Will he see it? The Vikings spot it, and now ForGG sieges up, and TaeJa sees it and moves back, because when you've got a bio army going up against sieged up siege tanks, there's not really much point. However, TaeJa is deciding to go around the back way, presumably going to go through this back sort of passage down here. Moves one of his tanks back and builds another bunker just in case of more aggression, because he knows that ForGG is massing an army out at the Zelnaga tower. The question is, will ForGG notice? And he's pulled off a squadron of Vikings. No, I thought he might have gone to try and spot. But TaeJa at the moment a tiny bit supply blocked, but we do have some more bunker. No, we don't have any more supply depots, so it looks as though TaeJa's going to go with this. And the army is spotted. And they're going to run up into the natural. Does he have stim yet? No. He could stim in, and oh, these siege tanks could deal so much damage to the SCVs. If we go to units lost, workers killed 18-4. This is a massive economic blow to ForGG. That command centre is going to fall as well. And TaeJa's losses mounting up, but this attack was well worth it, because at the moment it is 2 fully working, fully functional, fully saturated expansions to just the 1. And that lone Viking, the sole survivor, he will live to sing songs of this day if he was Klingon. But looks as though ForGG might go for the counter, but pulls back and thinks better of it, possibly to meet up with the extra siege tanks. The SCV's going to be moving out, as well as the barracks scout, which should help absorb some splash damage if need be. But that tank going to get fixed up, and the command centre coming back up for ForGG. However, we do have 1-1 and blue flame for Hellions, I think I saw in the production tab fleetingly. But we're going to have 1-1 and also combat shield for those Marines. so that they're going to be extra potent. So it looks as though TaeJa is going to go for quite a big bio army. As I take a sip of my coffee. So TaeJa on 3cc, so triple mules. However, he's letting his energy get a bit high, possibly for scanning in case he needs to be, and that is going to he is going to go for the third. And it's going to be three bases against just one at the moment. However, mass tank army coming out now. If we go to units, those Vikings not going to do all that much. However, the Hellions could get a... And there's a stim. Will he manage to take down the tanks before? Takes down one tank. Takes the Hellions doing a vast amount of damage. And TaeJa has to pull back. However, he moves his tanks forward. And the Vikings start taking out that factory. I say factory because they usually use factory to scout, taking out that barracks. And ForGG forced to move back. Quite a big supply deficit opening up now. With TaeJa having the additional tank. However, he has 22 more Marines, but ForGG geared up to full bio denial army with 7 Hellions. And I feel as though I'm about to... No, I'm not about to sneeze. There we go. Sorry about that, I just had to mute my mic for a second. But he is going to try and go for the third as well, so we've got 3 base against 3 base. So pretty identical. I think TaeJa can sort of sense this. So we'll try and go up the ramp here, but might get denied by the tanks. And those siege tanks, he just managed to stay out of range, but he loads up those tanks into the medevacs. And will he try to do a tank drop in the mineral line? It could be potentially game ending, but who knows. It is TaeJa, he is known for wacky things. Spread his Marines out to deny any tanks that want to come and try and kill him off. As we listen to the funky tunes of, I think this is a Zerga shotgun and you. But the tanks begin to take down all those. But the tank drop, will it be able to? I think it might have done. I think TaeJa might have done it. Sieging those tanks up and his tank line. And there's the GG from ForGG. ForGG knew that he couldn't win that. His early aggression didn't quite pay off, but in the end, TaeJa managed to hold off ForGG's early aggression and came through to win it. So at the moment it is 1-0 in this series to Liquid TaeJa, and I will see you over in Game 2.